everyone, welcome to episode 66 of the Arieknits podcast. My name is Ariel, and this is a video podcast where I talk about all the things that I have been knitting and spinning on for the past week. So today it is Saturday, March 23rd, and I made a lot of progress on some things. I have a few finished objects I want to talk about, and I also have a finished spin project. So yeah, they're all very exciting. You might be able to tell that I am also wearing one of my finished objects for the week. And I'm actually surprised I finished this as quickly as I did, but I will explain all of that, I guess right now. So here it is. This is what I am wearing. I am wearing a test knit of the Skyline Tee by Tori, and I knit this with Explorer Knits Denali sock in the colorway Morning Ritual. It was one of the variegated colorways for the Seattle collection, and I did get this yarn last year, both of the skeins, although on two separate occasions. I know that there are now two more variegated yarns that came out for the Seattle collection by Explorer Knits that she had at the La Mercerie pop-up, which is a yarn store on Bainbridge Island, last weekend? Yeah, last weekend, which I did not go to. Very sad about it. I really wanted to go. My friends went, and they also got me some yarn, so thank you so much for doing that for me. I can't wait to see it in person, and I miss you all, friends. And yeah, if you went, I hope you all had a great time. I think the weather was fantastic in Seattle last weekend. So yeah, and I missed it because I was in Hawaii for a friend's wedding last weekend, and it went really well. But with that, or the reason, the reason why I got a lot of knitting done last weekend is because I was on vacation for a little bit in Hawaii, brought some knit things, including the Skyline Tee, and so I really was able to just like buckle down and knit on this, and so this was like my primary knit while I was in Hawaii. It was not my airplane knit because I was helical knitting for this tee, and on the airplane I really want like a very simple, no fuss kind of knitting project, so this was not my airplane knit, but this was my in Hawaii knit. So that is how I got it done so quickly. I think last time we talked about it, I finished, the sleeves were done, the neckline was done, and then I just had to finish the body, and so I did finish the entire body and all of that. It's now blocked as well. And this is actually my first time putting it on, and I love the fit. I love how it looks, and I'm very excited about it, and I really do want to make a tonal version of this. But, okay, more details before I talk about it again. Size 1 is the size that I test knit for this. I used US 3 needles for the main body, which I believe is the recommended needle size for the pattern. And final measurements, I got right on 34 inches in circumference for this tee, which is exactly what the pattern says for size 1. And that gives me 4 inches of positive ease. So I will stand up now so you can see this tee. I absolutely love this fit. I think that the 4 inches of positive ease for something that's like a summer top or like, like not a sweater, I think is for me, I do like the 4 inches. I don't know if I turn around, like it's just, the main body is stockinette. This colorway looks fantastic. I don't think that I really needed to maybe helical knit, but it's always safe to do that, especially for hand-dyed yarns. But yeah, love how the color comes out when it's all knit up. It has the really nice pops of the red, just the rest of the colors. I just really love this colorway. And most importantly, and I'll just show you the bottom hem is a 1x1 rib with a tubular bind off. Now, should I sit back down? Oh no, I will maybe stand like this. So this is like the biggest design feature for this top. It is a saddle shoulder construction, so you do kind of work this shoulder panel first, just right on the top here, which is a 3x1 rib, and it goes right across the shoulder, and that pattern follows all the way down when you pick up to do the rest of the sleeve. So I'll kind of pull on this so you can see that ribbing a little bit easier at the top of my shoulder. So that is what that design feature looks like, and I really like it. This is my first, it is not my first saddle shoulder construction thing. I think maybe the first one was actually the Calm Down cardigan, but this one it is a wider kind of saddle shoulder than the Calm Down cardigan, so yeah, very cool to see this done from a different designer. And although, you know, Tori, you did have the Skyline pullover, which is like a sweater version that also has this, but I didn't make it yet. I want to make it, but haven't gotten the opportunity or yarn inspiration to make it yet. But it is on my future to make list. One thing that did surprise me about the shoulder panels is actually how far forward it sits. It's not actually, at least on me. So Tori, when she had the test knit call out, did she? I don't think she posted, I don't recall seeing a picture of her wearing the tee. At least in the test knit pattern, there isn't a picture of the tee on a body. But for me right now, if I turn to the side, you'll see the shoulder panel isn't really centered on my shoulder, and I think this is on purpose. But yeah, I think I was expecting it to fit in the middle, but it's not. And I think it's so that you can actually see that detail more in the front. So if you can see that the line of the shoulder panels and like here in the front, but if I turn to the side on the back, it's kind of almost sitting right at the top of my shoulder. So I'd say like the top of my shoulder is right here, and the back of that panel is right here, and the front is like right here. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that was done on purpose. It just kind of caught me by surprise just because I wasn't sure. I think I was expecting it to sit on top, but it's not. But I'm kind of glad it's not, because you can see more of that detail on the front. And yeah, I really like the size of the neckline here. It's not too close. I mean, even if it was like right here, that would actually be okay as well. I really don't like anything to start to creep up like right here on my neck, so this feels actually very comfortable, and overall I'm really enjoying this design, this pattern, and the finished object. So that is my test knit of the Skyline Tee. I don't think it's going to come out until maybe a month or so from now. I think the test knit deadline is sometime in April. So I am pretty, I did finish this test knit pretty quickly, but I am very happy about that. So there's no stress on my end. I just need to make sure that I do whatever the feedback for the test knit when the time comes. But I'm very excited to be wearing this. I think right now it's a good weather time to, you know, wear tees and tanks, knitted tees and tanks with like a cardigan over. I think that'd be really cute. So yeah, that is my Skyline Tee by Tori Yu. Keep an eye out for when the pattern does eventually come out, because I think it's a really good one. All right, my second finished object for this week, and I talked about it last time and it was almost done, but I just needed to sew on the pockets. I'm pretty sure that's where I left off, and I didn't get a chance to do that until I came back from my trip, which was sometime, was it Wednesday or Tuesday this week? So finally did that, woven in all the final ends after sewing on the pockets, and now it is done. This is the Traveler Shell by Andrea Mowry, and I will hold it up. This is something I will hopefully try to remember to wear in next week's video. Ooh, look, the drape looks so good on camera too. You can totally see that. So here is the Traveler shell. I use Pasley Knits Sailing Sport yarn in the colorway Golden Pavillion, which is this very watercolory green, blue, and yellow color. And I knit size 2. I used US 2 and US 4 needles for this. I believe that is the recommended needle size. And yeah, I haven't had the opportunity yet to properly kind of like wear it and see how I like wearing it like throughout the day, but I think it's going to be really great coming up soon, especially like spring and like transition to warmer weather, because sometimes I still want to have something like a cardigan, but maybe long sleeves is just like a little too much. And so having some kind of like cover up but with short sleeves I think would be really handy for those kinds of weather situations. The alpaca yarn, so this yarn base is a 100% baby alpaca yarn. It is so soft, it is so drapey, and I think that is like this was the perfect pattern for this kind of yarn. And I really like how this came out. I think the sizing was really good. It did block out, I think I didn't block it last time I showed it to you, but I did block it. And I thought, so it did grow lengthwise as I thought it would because of the stitch pattern. It's kind of like ribbing, but with the rows like horizontal instead of vertical. So it did grow a bit lengthwise, but honestly not as much as I thought it would. Especially also because it is alpaca yarn. I feel like alpaca yarn also grows a lot after you block something. So this grew in just like the perfect amount. Like I really like how much, or the amount that it grew, I like. I was expecting it to grow more and I was concerned about it, but I feel like I didn't have to be worried about it because it came out really great. I will say once, when I sewed on the pockets, because I did them one at a time, and I did sew them as the directions suggest, which is so this is the pocket right here, if you can kind of see that. I sewed it right up till the ribbings on the front and the bottom, and I tried to match up the ridges on the pocket to the body. And after I sewed on one, I did put it on just to see how it looked, and that's the pocket. The weight of the pocket really did kind of stretch out this cardigan like even more. And so with the weight of the pockets, it did also like do an additional kind of like stretching lengthwise. But again, the length that it stretched was like, it was good. I really like how it looks, and next week I will show you how it looks on me. So yeah, very exciting. I kind of feel like this project felt like it took me a little bit of time. I know that when I started it, I kind of started a while ago. I did start it last year, I believe, and I wasn't totally feeling it, so it was kind of like on and off the weeks that I would work on it, and I think I took a break from working on it for a while. I did have other projects I wanted to work on instead. But now that I have this, I almost want another one. Like, I think it would be a really great, it's one of those garments, I feel like when I think about it, and if I don't have, like this, I don't know if I have like a short-sleeved cardigan, because in my mind, I'm like, why would I want that? It's the same feeling I had with fingerless mittens. I was like, why would I want fingerless mittens? Because if my hands are cold, my fingers will be cold. But once I made them and used them, I just used them today. We went out today to look at the cherry blossoms at University of Washington. I love wearing those things. I love them. I think there was something, vest. I also was like, why would I want vest? My arms are the things that get cold. So why would I wear a thing that won't keep my arms cold? but after I like made them and wore them, I love them. So I think that is how I'm feeling about this too. It's like, I was like, why would I want a short sleeve cardigan? Because my arms will be cold. But I think I like it. I think I like this kind of garment. So we'll see. I don't think I will be making another one of these anytime soon because there's a lot of other traveler garments like in this pattern collection that I want to make. But I don't know. This is something I think I would consider making again. Maybe one without pockets just to keep it a little more interesting. Also because sewing on pockets is not the most fun thing. So, but yeah, that is the Traveler Shawl, my second finished object for the week. I'm so happy that this is done. It feels like a kind of a big deal because it has been on my needles, like one of the longer projects on my needles. So to have that cleared off feels really nice. But yeah, I will wear it next week and talk more about wearing it in next week's video. Okay, and then really quickly, I want to mention this cardigan project that I finished. And if you follow me on my Instagram, you may have seen the other day that I did post about this test knit. It was actually a secret test knit, and so I didn't mention it at all ever on my podcast, which was really hard to do because I love sharing all the things I'm working on with you all. There were some weeks where I spent a lot of the week working on this cardigan, and I was like, I can't share it on the podcast, but hopefully this turns out well. I am planning on making a separate video all about this cardigan. It is called the Sitka Spruce cardigan by Tayler Harris for Woolfolk, and I will be making a separate video. Even though I didn't talk about it weekly on the podcast, I did film separate kind of like snippets of me talking about it every week while I was working through it, so that I can put it all in one video for you to see the progress. And we'll see if that turns out to be an interesting format. I don't know how often I will be doing those kinds of videos because this is my very first secret test knit. So, but yeah, that should be hopefully coming out later this week. That's my plan. I still have to edit the video, but let me just show you a little preview of it here for my normal podcast viewers. Again, this is the Sitka Spruce cardigan by Tayler Harris for Woolfolk. Look at this cardigan. It is a cabled cardigan. It has these amazing cables on the front and all on the back. Some small little bobble panel here in the middle. Some double moss stitch for the rest of the body. Really cute, kind of like notched, not button band, but you know, the front band of the cardigan, garter stitch, band, I-cord, or kind of I-cord edge. It is a wonderful cardigan, beautiful pattern and design. I really love it. The yarn I used was gifted to me through like the Woolfolk program and test knitting for Tayler, and it is the Woolfolk Luft yarn in the colorway L16. It is a dark brown yarn, and it is wonderful. I really like it. And yeah, more details on it in this future video where I will be talking in more detail about it, but I did want to document it on my normal podcast videos that I did finish this, and the pattern is now out. That is why I can now talk about it. So yeah, Sitka Spruce cardigan is another. I finished this maybe like a month ago, or maybe a few weeks ago, but pattern just came out, so yeah, wanted to share it here with you all. All right, next up, let me put this cardigan here. Okay, so that is all of my finished objects for the week, and feeling really good about it. So let's move on to talk about my whips or my works in progress. Where to start? Oh, of course, the thing I have been starting with for a while now. This is my Sweet Shop blanket by Laura Penrose, and I have now officially started the fall season sock sets from Pasley Knits 2023 seasons box sock sets, and I'm so excited for the fall colorways because they might be up there in my favorite. I think out of all of the seasons boxes, I think spring might be my favorite. Fall is a really close, like I feel like spring and fall are different. Spring's like very light and watercolory, and that's very me. And fall is like those darker moody colors, which I feel like are also me, just like a different mood, and I really like it. So yeah, spring and fall I think were my favorite sock sets, my favorite colorways, and so I'm excited to be working with the fall ones. And I guess I show you the square now. Ta-da, my 4 squares. Actually, would it be this way? This way. Which way did I knit it? Which way is the right way? Oh, it's this way. Okay. Not that it matters, but you know. Ta-da! So you'll see it's all green. Very beautiful dark green. I like dark green. I think that is now a thing. I love pink. Pink is always going to be my favorite color, but there's something about a dark green that I really like lately, so I'm loving this first sock set. So this was, and I have the remaining variegated colorway here. The colors for this were Cabin in the Woods and Old Growth. And so you'll see the tonal colorway here. This was the mini for the sock set. Feels very, like they match green. The green colors match. Is probably the more darker greens that show up in here. But looks really good. I can unfold the blanket just so you can see it all. The fall colors, actually it works out well. I like spring and fall the most out of the colorways, and they will be sitting right on top of each other. So here's the full blanket. I think you can see it all. And let me hold up this green square up here is the first fall colorways, and very different vibes from working with the really bright summer colors, but I am here for this. Very happy with how it's coming out. I am fully enjoying the process still. And yeah, 4 squares a week, again, feels like a good pace to be on. So this blanket is starting to feel kind of big. When I'm working on it, it does have to cover my lap while I am working on it. And if the blanket slightly falls off my lap while I'm working on it, it's so heavy that I need to make sure it's all can fit on my lap for me to work on it, if that makes sense. But it has still been enjoyable to work on, which is good. But now we are officially over halfway, because the halfway point was right at the end of the summer, and now we're in fall. So I mean, not actually in fall weather, but like fall sock set. So now we are over halfway done with the blanket, which is really exciting. I feel like the blanket will be done probably right in the middle of summer when the weather is too hot to use a knitted blanket, but that's okay because it'll be ready, waiting and ready for when the weather gets cooler later this year. But that is my Sweet Shop blanket. So excited about it. I do love working on it every week. Okay, next up is this is something I don't think I've talked about for a couple weeks. Mostly because of the traveling, it was kind of hard to work on. This is the Midnight Jasmine wrap by Alexi of Two of Wands. And yeah, this was one of my longer term projects that I cast on like 2 years ago, and I really want to get this done this year. Making good progress, as you can see. My stitch marker, so last time I worked on it, I just finished row 7. So you see my stitch marker here. I'm working them from this end to this end. So that's the end of this row 7. And this week, or should I say this morning, I finished row 8, which I think was, I should count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 flowers. So the rows are feeling a lot more manageable number of flowers wise. So 11 flowers, I just did it this morning, and so maybe at this point I could try and do 1 row a week, and then if I stick to that, I think that'll be five more weeks, but like the last 2 or 3 rows are like really short, like 5 flowers, so I could probably just like also knock those out really fast. But yeah, it's looking so good with all of the colors, all of the flowers, and it's gonna happen. I'm gonna finish this. The yarn I'm using for this is Lion Brand Two of Wands Color Theory yarn, and like 5 different colors, or is it 6? I think it's 6. But yeah, it's looking really good, and this is a crochet project, by the way. This is my 1 crochet project right now, and I am just excited to have this as a finished object because I think it'll also just look really pretty. I don't know if this is something I would wear out, just because it is, I would worry that this would just get, I don't know, caught on something just because there are, holes between the flowers. I don't know. That's probably like not something I would need to worry about, but I think it would just look really pretty to be just like hanging over like a chair. I have a lot of things that are just hanging over chairs, but this would look pretty. It would look intentional as far as like a decoration or something. But yeah, that is my progress on the Midnight Jasmine wrap. Next up, I have another shawl progress update on, I don't think I talked about this also for the past couple of weeks, but I am getting back on it. I feel like since I finished a couple things this past week, I'm feeling really good, and I want to finish more things before I cast on more things. So I've been trying to work on this. This is the Daft Day Shawl by Rebecca Clow. And I have been at the point where it's getting scrunched onto needles, but even more so now. It's just getting scrunched because the rows are getting much longer. But I do have my progress marker here, so I just worked just a little bit, maybe like 8 rows or something, but 8 rows is 8 rows, so I'm trying to figure out which project. I like to sometimes focus on one project to like make a ton of progress on during the week, and this might be one, if not this week, maybe the week after or sometime soon, because this is another kind of like project I've had on my needles, I think, from last year, and so it would be nice to just get this done as well. The yarn I'm using for this is Lavender Fiber Co., the Valentines Day Advent Minis, and so I've just been switching through all of the minis, and it's kind of creating this striped situation, and it's been really fun. There's a lot of ends to weave in, but I've still kind of been trying to weave in some of the ends sometimes as I kind of go, so hopefully at the end it won't feel too much of a burden to weave in all of the ends. But yeah, it's looking really pretty because I like pink. So yeah. This is like a one size pattern, I think, but it's very adjustable to make it whatever size you want. And I'm using US 3 needles for this. yeah, so that's the Daft Day's Shawl. Next up, oh, I'm working on like so many shawls and wraps. This is a project I spent a ton of time on, partly because this was my airplane project, both for going to Hawaii and coming back. And I'm so excited about this progress. This is the Verg wrap by Lindsay Fowler, aka my soup shawl, because I'm using the Coast to Coast yarn soup sock sets. And you use all of the sock set, the full skein and the mini skein. And so let me first show you the progress on the first sock set. So my stitch marker is here, right here from last time we talked about it. So I finished the first sock set, and so this is what that panel looks like. And now I started the second one, and I got over halfway done with the second one as well. Yay! So this second sock set is Hearty Stew is the main color, and Creme Fraiche is the mini skein, which is this middle panel here. And what's really fun is, if you notice, the middle panel is different for each of the colors. There are 4 different options in the pattern, and you can like choose whichever one you want, but I am trying to keep it kind of on theme, or like to match the stitch pattern. So I feel like this brown kind of matches this brown colorway. It's called Crusty Loaf, I believe, and I was like, oh, it's like bread. Kind of feel like bread sometimes has like these like cross kind of pattern on it, and so I thought that was fun. And then for this one, the white, this kind of lace pattern is called Snowflakes, at least in the wrap pattern. And I was like, it's white and snowflakes, and so I feel like that matches really well as well. So that makes me very happy. I think it looks very cute. This brown color is so pretty. You can see kind of all the different colors that are in it. Like, it's definitely not like a single tonal color. It is a variegated, but it is kind of like, I guess, like low contrast variegated, so it just has so much depth to it, and it's gorgeous. I love it. And so you can now better see like how this wrap is going to look, because now you'll see like the full, what a full sock set looks like. It'll have 2 main sections and then just like that little strip of the mini skein in the middle. And yeah, so I'm finishing up the second sock set, and then we have 2 more sock sets to go. So this was a really great airplane knit, as you can see, because, oh, I didn't even show you. You'll see how much I knit. Yeah, my stitch marker is here from last week. So from my trip, I worked from here all the way up to here. The airplane ride, I think, was like 5 hours something each way. So within the 5 hours, I think the first trip, the ride going to Hawaii, I like just got to the second main skein. So it might have been, does that look like about maybe half? I've done half each way. Oh, and I did work on this a little bit after the plane ride, or like after I came back. But yeah, I think I got up to, oh my gosh, up to here on the plane ride going there. And oh, then actually I was like, what is this stitch marker for? Oh, yeah, okay. Then I think plane ride coming back, I probably ended around here. And then, yeah, later on in the week I worked on the mini skein and started back up on the main color, or the second sock set main color, full skein. So yeah, so that's how it's looking. And I'm very excited about it. It makes me very happy, because ever since this pattern came out, I just envisioned soup shawl, and so I'm very excited that it's finally happening and almost halfway done, which is exciting. It feels like a huge project because it is 4 full skeins plus 4 minis, full minis. So That's almost like knitting something with 5 skeins of fingering weight yarn, but it feels like it's going by fast, or faster than I thought it would. So yeah, that feels pretty good. Oh yeah, I am knitting size large, which is just basically 4 sock sets instead of 3, because the smaller size is 3 sock sets. And I'm using US 5 needles, which I believe is the recommended needle size for the pattern. All right, next up. This is another project I haven't talked about in some time, I think, after I cast it on. This is another project I brought with me to Hawaii to work on. So basically the Verg wrap was my airplane knitting both ways. My main knitting for once I was home in Hawaii was the thing I am wearing, the Skyline Tee? Skyline Tee was like the main knit. And then once I finished that, I think I only had like one more day in Hawaii after I finished this, but I didn't want to work on my wrap, my soup shawl. So I knit on this a little bit. This is my Cumulous blouse by Petite Knit, using Woolberry Fiber Co. Berry Surrey in the colorway October. And I'm just right now doing some body knitting, and so I got a few more inches done this week. So this is my stitch marker where I was before my trip last time we talked, and yeah, I worked a few more inches on the body. So I am using the Surrey held double. So I'm planning on working the body until I am finished with both of these skeins, and then I will do the neckline, I-cord, and also finish the sleeves before I go back to finish the body. And I should be good on yarn. I have 2 more full skeins left. So, and this is how far, so far, my 2 first skeins have got to me, and I still have a pretty good amount more to go. So it's looking really pretty. I like how the colors are looking like there's no pooling, which is really nice. So yeah, excited to have another one of these sweaters in my wardrobe. A Surrey sweater. So yeah, I am knitting size extra small, and I'm using US 7 needles. And as a reminder, this is the new berry Surrey base from Woolberry. I don't know how long I will have to say the new base, because it's been some time now, but I still have the old Surrey base in my stash, and so I just want to make sure I remind myself which one it is, because the content I think is slightly different, like as far as like the ratio of like this percentage of Surrey versus the silk is slightly different, but also importantly the yardage is different for this new one. It is like 437 yards, I think, versus the older one is like 300 something. So I really want to make sure I remember that, especially for when I keep track of like how much yarn / yardage I use for projects. But yeah, this is the new Berry Surrey base. It is also the first time I am using this yarn base for a project, and so I'm excited to, I have a cumulous blouse in the, well, it's an Explorer Knit Surrey, but I think it's the same like base as the old Woolberry Surrey. So once I'm done with this, I'm excited to kind of like compare them side by side. It's like the same pattern, just different yarn, and so I'm curious to see if I can even feel a difference while I'm wearing it. So yeah, that is my quick progress on my cumulous blouse. And that is all I have for my works in progress for my knitting. Let's see. So now I have a couple spinning things. I actually have finished a spinning project. This was my hand-dyed superfine merino fiber, and hopefully I remember to put a picture here of what the fiber looked like before, and so that you can compare what the fiber looked like before I spun it and what it looks like now all spun up. And so here is the finished spin. I made a three ply fractal, which is this main skein here, and I absolutely love how it came out. This is my first 3-ply fractal, and I am obsessed with how it looks. I think I want to do more 3-ply fractals in the future. I can't wait to knit with it because I just want to see how it looks knitted up as well. But oh my gosh, the colors look so good as a 3-ply because there's like 3 different colors in some sections. It's so pretty. And I had some leftover as well because I did, when you spin like for the 3-ply, well, at least for me, so I have like 3 separate bobbins, right? So you can ply them. When you ply them, it's like coming from 3 separate bobbins, but they're not all the same length of fiber. So after one of them runs out, I ended up just plying the rest of the leftovers as a 2-ply, which is kind of what I've been doing for my other spins as well. When I have leftover, I just spin the leftovers together into a 2-ply or whatever. And so this is the leftover skein of 2-ply of the fiber. So I will hold that up again. It's so pretty. I feel like it's hard to see the colors on camera, so I will be taking pictures of my finished spin and posting it on my Instagram and my Ravelry page, I guess. I've been trying to be better at keeping track of my spins, my hand spun, in my Ravelry after I found out there is like a hand spun project page as well. So yeah, because in person, oh my gosh, this reply is so cute for the colors specifically. It's so cute. So I am quite happy with this. The colors came out, I don't know if this is how I expected the colors to come out from what the fiber looked like. It is very pastel-y. I don't know if it looks slightly muddled color-wise just because it is so light, and that there are some like brownish areas, although the brown is because part of the fiber was like kind of colored that way. So yeah, good. This is just good information for me to see how something I dyed, how I dyed the fiber like turns out once you spin it. So yeah, it's my first, okay, it's not, I've actually did dye some fiber before and spun it. And so that was my actual first experiment of hand dyeing fiber. But this is like my first like 4 ounces dyeing fiber. So I guess, should I just say it's my second attempt at dyeing fiber and spinning it? Maybe. But I'm very proud of it. It is a super fine merino, so it is feeling quite soft. And I was thinking about what I should knit with it, and I was like, maybe some mittens? Some fingerless mittens? I don't know. I have to also check the yardage. Oh, did I? Oh, so the one thing for me is I don't usually check final yardage after I wash until I wind it up for a project because I'm too lazy to rewind it just to check yardage, which I probably should, but you know, anyway, I think that before washing my full main skein here, I think got maybe like 300 yards, and this one might have been like 60 yards or something. So it looks like my 3-ply probably is like a DK weight yarn, potentially. It looks kind of thick to be a sport weight, but I'm gonna say DK weight. Sport or DK. Maybe. Something like that. But I'm very happy with it. So that is my one finished spin for this week. And then I did finally pick back up my sweater spin because I really want the sweater spin to be done because I want to knit the sweater so bad. But I just finished my 4th bobbin. This is number 4 out of 6. So I'm feeling good about the progress. This bobbin looks, I think, the most consistent that I've spun something in a while. It looks pretty good, if I do say so myself. The camera will probably take forever to focus, but I think it's looking really good. I'm very proud of my spinning. There are some parts, like while I'm spinning, I'm like, that was slightly, thicker or thinner than I wanted, but overall this is looking pretty good. This might be one of my better consistent part of my spins, and I'm very happy about that. So yeah, I really want this sweater spin. I want to see the yarn. I want to work with the yarn. This is also going to be a 3-ply, but of course not really a fractal because it's kind of all one color. Just lots of depth in the color, I guess. It's not color changing throughout the thing. So I am going to do a 3-ply with this, and so yeah, seeing the 3-ply fractal, I think, even though this isn't a fractal spin, doing the 3-ply fractal made me think about the 3-ply of this and kind of wanting to have this yarn done already. Part of it too is, or the reason why I feel excited and motivated to knit with the final spin of this is because I've looked up, like, some people have like strong preferences towards a 2-ply or 3-ply, and I don't think I've knit with enough 3-ply to really kind of like have an opinion on it. And I've read that 3-ply the yarn feels more round than a 2-ply. And I can kind of, I don't know if that is a description I would have thought of myself if I were going to describe the yarn as a 3-ply, but I think now that I've heard that, I'm like, I can see how it does feel slightly more round and not flat versus a 2-ply. But they're also like, I don't have too much 2-ply like DK weight, so I feel like it's unfair to compare a 3-ply DK weight with a 2-ply fingering weight, if that makes sense, as far as like how it feels. So, but I can see, like, just looking at the strand and just like how it feels, I can see why people would say that a 3-ply feels more round, I guess. But anyway, yeah, that is all I have for the spinning, and I have no acquisitions for this week, but, well, I have no acquisitions that are in my hands with me this week. As I mentioned before, I did get some yarn thanks to my friends who went to the Explore Knits pop-up at La Mercerie, so that did happen. I am acquiring that in the near future, but yeah, that is all I have to talk about today. As I said earlier, I am hoping later this week that I will be posting another kind of like one-off special video that's not a podcast episode, but is going to be about my secret test knit of the Sitka Spruce cardigan that I did, because yeah, I couldn't talk about it, but I wanted to document the process anyway. And yeah, now the time is here. The pattern is out, so I do want to talk about it. And besides that, yeah, I'm excited. I think most of my travels for the rest of the year, like, I don't have any planned for the next couple of months, and so I feel kind of relieved because traveling's stressful to me, but I feel relieved to kind of get back into a routine, get back to my knitting, and yeah, get back to my spinning. So, oh, and now that I'm done, I finished a spin project, my ladybug wheel is now open for a new project, and so I have ideas for what I want to do for my next project. I'm trying to consider, is this going to be one that I want to film and do my second episode of a Spin With Me video, or do I want to spin something else kind of really quickly before I film another spin with me video, but I am thinking about doing a long draw video for a spin with me. I've only done it once before, and by once it was my first sweater spin. I don't know why I decided to do that for my first ever sweater spin, but I was kind of doing like a supported long draw, I think, for that. So that was the last time I did do a long draw type of spinning, and so I want to get back into doing that and trying to get my spinning with that technique more consistent. So maybe I'll do that for my next spin with me video. We'll see. I have so many ideas. Can't wait to start all of them, but I also want to finish projects I have on my needles currently, so that's kind of where I'm at. But other than that, I hope you're all having a great day or week, whichever day or week you're watching this. And yeah, let me know in the comments down below what you have been working on while you've been watching or listening to this podcast. And I will see you all in next week's video. Bye!